Those photographs become part of our legal documentation of our ownership of the property in the event it's ever lost in some way, shape, or form, whether it's stolen, whether it's lost as a result of a natural disaster. We need to be able to photograph it and document it so that even though it may no longer exist or not be in our hands, we can still provide that information to researchers and so on and so forth. So, things like uniforms take a lot of photographs because we're doing the inside of the photograph, the outside of the photograph, any places that there's significant damage that we would need to document for conservation purposes, things of that nature. But if you're just doing a belt buckle, a front and a back of the belt buckle is satisfactory because they're pretty much all the same, except that there might be some distinctive manufacturing mark or maybe a little bit of damage in some place that gives you that distinct, unique proof that it's yours. And of course, our written description in the catalog records would also supplement the photographs and say, the right cuff is damaged, there's a 3-inch tear, and you'd see it written in the documentation as well as the photograph to support that. So that becomes extremely crucial to us because if we ever have to go to court to try to recover something that was public property, that's what's going to get the object recovered for us. If we don't, then we have no claim to it. We can't prove that we have a claim to it. So it's crucial for us to do that. And it's a long, painstaking process. I know because I've been doing it for 23 years. But I just wanted to give you an idea of, this is a pattern 1858 frock coat for the Union Army. This is a dress coat. Every soldier in the pre-Civil War period would have been issued one of these when they were fell in for inspection, for parade, for review. This is the coat that the Union soldier, the U.S. Army soldier would wear in the period immediately before the Civil War, and also into the Civil War itself. The shoulder scales on the top are optional. Not every soldier would have had them or worn them, but the purpose of the brass shoulder scales is not only for ornamentation, but it was also for the foot soldier encountering mounted cavalry, slashing the saber at the shoulders and things like that. It's just something that would protect the soldier's shoulders and arms from being the downward cut of an enemy cavalryman encountering them on the battlefield. It's sort of a leftover from the medieval armor period, that type of thing. It's just something that protected the soldier close to the neck and the shoulders so that he could still raise his weapon and fire in defense. The piping indicates the branch of service. This is a pale blue or a sky blue. That's the infantry color. For cavalry, it would be yellow. For artillery, it would be red. The three branches of service in the Federal Army at that time. This is the model 1858 dress hat as well. It's called the Hardy hat or the Jeff Davis hat. One ironic thing about the Civil War is that Jeff Davis was the Secretary of War in the decade immediately prior to the American Civil War. And by the mid-1850s, Jeff Davis was the man who was primarily responsible for modernizing the American Army and trying to put it on the same par as the great European armies across the Atlantic. Now, we would never have the large armies that they did at the time. We would just want it to look like the modern military armies, the French, the British, the Austrians. We wanted to be able to kind of maintain a parity with them in terms of appearance, equipment, things of that nature. Of course, we've always had a small army, and that was something that would always be maintained. But Jefferson Davis felt that because America was growing and expanding, it needed to have a military that was suitable for the mission of the United States Army. So it's interesting that Jefferson Davis actually created the military that he would fight within less than 10 years.